So the UK government decided to cut down on legal migration as well as illegal migration. My people, so they have published latest figures about, comparing the number of people that are coming to the UK currently to the number of people that came to the UK last year around the same time. Guys, the figures are mind-blowing. People have stopped coming to the UK. It's crazy. I'm going to give you the figures right now. In fact, me, I'm not surprised. Oh, I did expect it. Stay tuned. Stop that. Hi guys, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Anel Griselda. On this channel, I talk about nursing. I talk about opportunities for people to relocate abroad and life in the UK as an immigrant in general. So if these are topics that interest you, please consider subscribing. So they have published figures, and then according to reports, there's been a sharp decline in UK work and study visas following their visa rules. So for those of you who don't know the visa rules, last year there was a 5-point plan that was introduced by the Conservative government, and it was tough. They wanted to cut down on legal migration. They stopped international students from coming with their dependents. People coming as care workers could no longer come with dependents. They increased the salary thresholds. In fact, so many inconvenient things. And this has been going on for a while now, right? And now there's been an update on the current figures of people coming to the UK. This is in a way going to cut down on migration, because obviously what led to this is because net migration went to its record high of over 764,000 people that came to the UK and did not go back. So almost 1 million. So that was really worrisome for them, right? However, now is reduced drastically. And let me say that this is what they wanted. However, this could also affect the economy negatively. Let me talk about how this can affect the UK negatively. So first of all, experts are saying that there's no way the UK is going to be able to raise their own people qualified to do some of these jobs that the immigrants were coming to do in a short time. They are saying that it will take a long time for them to raise their own local people and educate them and train them to take up the jobs that these immigrants were coming to take. Like, let's say even a year there were 500 surgeons coming from India to work in the UK. Experts are saying that it will take the UK much longer time to train that same number of experts in that particular sector of, let's say, medicine or surgery, for them to be able to fill those work shortages. So in a way, employers are still going to have skill shortages, and that's not going to be good for the UK. Also, the UK was making a lot of money from international students. They raised a lot of money, and even when you read reports and all of that, apparently a lot of the universities in the UK, their main source of funding was international fees. And now that people are not allowed to bring their dependents, they might look elsewhere. They might either go to Canada, go to America, go to other countries that are favorable, that would allow them to go with their dependents. So obviously they're going to lose money in that sector as well. Now people are not coming to the UK anymore, so they're not going to make as much money from the immigration health surcharge to fund their NHS as well. So many other negative things. However, now let's go to the important part. Let's look at the figures. When we look at the health and care worker visa, so for those who don't know what the health and care worker visa is, it's the kind of visa that you apply for. It's under the skilled worker visa for those coming to work in the health sector. So if you're coming to work as a nurse, as a doctor, as a care worker, as a physiotherapist, a lab technician, you come under the health and care worker visa. So let's look at the figures. So they said there's been a sharp decline, and then they've observed that the people applying for health and care worker visa after the rules were tightened have reduced, because now people are not allowed to bring their dependents here, right? There were just about 10,800 applications for health and care worker visas between April and July 2024. April, May, June, July. Remember, they stopped care workers from bringing dependents somewhere around March. So from April to July 2024, there were only 10,800 applications. This was following the policy changes. That is an 81% decrease compared to the same 4 months in 2023. Between April and July 2024, there were 22,200 applications for dependents on the health and care routes. So obviously, those on the health and care worker visa is not everybody who's not allowed to bring dependents. If you're a nurse or a doctor, you can't still bring dependents, but it's only those that are care workers who cannot. Between April and July 2024, there were 22,200 applications for dependent visas. That is also a 71% decrease compared to the same 4 months in 2023. Now let's look at skilled worker visas in general, those that are coming to work as engineers, as accountants, as IT personnel, blah blah blah. So let's look at those ones in general, not just health and care worker visa. So in contrast, the number of monthly applications for skilled worker visas from main applicants has remained stable between January 2022 and March 2024 at around around 6,000 applications per month. So applications increased to 10,100 in April 2024 before it reduced again to about 6,000 in July 2024. In total, there were about 28,600 applications for skilled worker visas between April and July 2024, which is a 23% increase compared to the same 4 months in 2023. So applications for dependents on this route were broadly in line with the main applicants. So about 23,400 applications were made between April and July 2024. So 28,600 main applicants skilled worker visa applications, and then about 23,400 dependent visa applications. So it balanced, and that one has not really changed. Although the minimum salary threshold was being increased, blah blah blah, that one has not really changed much. Okay, so where they are seeing a lot of change is the health and care worker visa route, and I'm very sure it's because of the care worker ones. We all know what some people were doing. That was increasing the number of dependents. So this is despite the higher salary requirements being introduced under the skilled worker route in April, with the general salary threshold rising to 38,700 per year from the previous 26,200. Now let's look at student visas. What changes have been made, or what are the figures that they are seeing after all these strict rules were introduced? It says that in January 2024, the new rules were introduced to prevent international students on sponsored study visas from bringing dependent family members with them to the UK. The only exception is for those studying postgraduate research courses or courses with government-funded scholarships. In January to July 2024, there were 156,800 applications for sponsored study visas by main applicants, 16% lower. So that one has also decreased by 16% than in January to July 2023. In the same period, there were 13,100 applications from dependents of students, which is also 81% fewer than in 2023. Obviously, if you're only allowing postgraduate researchers and people on UK government scholarships, obviously then it will reduce by a drastic amount. However, the number of sponsored study visa applications tend to peak between July and September before the start of the academic year. So for this reason, it will be necessary to wait until then, July, September of 2024 to actually see whether people have really stopped coming to the UK. So that's for the students' visas. But looking at this trend, it looks like immigration is just going to gradually decrease, or migration is to the UK is just gradually just going to decrease, and that's what they want to see. That's what the political parties want to see, right? So the University of Oxford's Migration Observatory estimated that a net migration will continue to drop considerably in the next 5 years to about 350,000 by 2030, driven in part by more people leaving the UK, declines in the number of overseas students arriving in the UK, and a fall in private sector vacancies. The Home Office has committed to tackling ongoing skill shortages by training up the domestic labor force and shaping a fair and well-managed immigration system. However, experts have warned that it will take several years to build up an adequate supply of suitably qualified domestic workers. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.